guys, welcome back to Boots and Bounty Homestead. We are still going to be in Casey's kitchen, but I'm going to start off in the dining room today. We have got a lot of apples, as you see back here, that we've got to get processed. Now last year I made a lot of applesauce and a lot of apple butter. So this year I am looking to make some more apple pie filling. Now these are our apples this year. They're pretty good looking. Not a whole lot of blemishes, no bug holes or anything in them. So there's just a couple of bad spots that I need to cut out just because they're getting older, and where they might have gotten bruised or something if they accidentally fell on the tree or got bumped or something. So gotta cut a few of those bad spots out. I'm going to use the Ball Book recipe for the apple pie filling. Now in the Ball Book there is also a bunch of different other apple recipes that you can try. We try to stick to apple jelly, which you can make with your peelings and the cores. If you want to save those while you're making either this recipe or applesauce or apple butter, anything that you're making apple, save your peelings and your cores and you can make apple jelly. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we've got to get these apples cored and peeled, and then we've got to get them blanched. So I'm going to take a few of these into the kitchen and we're going to go ahead and start getting them cut up and ready to be preserved. Alright, so I've got a bowl of the worst apples, and they've got some bad spots where they've bruised or where they just went bad. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out, and then if you have a apple slicer, it'll be fairly quicker process if you use that, and then that way you can just take the skin off of each individual slice instead of trying to slice the whole apple or peel the whole apple. They do have the apple peelers and cores, you know, that you stick on there and then you can twirl. That's okay if you don't have moisturous apples. The bigger they are, the harder it is to use that thing, because it rears back and then you start getting the butt instead of the actual blade as it comes back. It doesn't peel it. It just doesn't sit right. So I'm going to use this after I take the bad spots out, and then I'll just take each individual slice and take the skin off. Now go ahead and get some water ready with a little bit of lemon juice in it, so that way your apples don't turn brown. I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to get to processing these apples. We also need a pot of boiling water, so you can go ahead and get that ready, because once we get the apples sliced and peeled, then we'll need to blanch them. So go ahead and get some boiling water ready in a pot. Okay, so once you get all of your apples cored and peeled, sliced, and all that, go ahead and put it in your hot water for the blanching. And you want to leave them in the water for about a minute. And this just stops the ripening process, kills off any extra bacteria. And then what you're going to do with this is you'll take your apples out with a slotted spoon and put them into a bowl, and you need 12 cups, and in here we have 8. We're finishing up the last 4, so we're going to let this finish blanching while we get these last few apples done, and then we'll throw those in there, and then we'll start with the next process. So now that our apples have blanched, we don't want them cooking, so we've got to take them out, and we're going to put them in a bowl. Okay, and we need to keep these warm, so we're just going to place a towel over them. Get all these out. Now I've got one more batch to do. Alright, put the towel over them. And then we'll be through blanching our apples. So now that we've got our apples blanched and sitting over here staying warm, we've got to fix our mixture that we are going to mix in with the apples to make the apple pie filling. We're going to start off with 2 3/4 cup of sugar. That's 2, and that's 3/4. And then we need 3/4 of a cup of clear gel or pectin. Now what I'm using is Sure Gel. This is just the powder pectin. And I'll have to measure it out because I do not know how much is in this bag. Let's see. Okay, that's not 3/4 cup, so let's do another one. And I'm wondering if you don't want to use pectin or Sure Gel or clear gel or whatever, I'm wondering if you can't just cook this down. But you'll have to cook it down and get it thick before you put your apples in it. Okay, so 2 packs of Sure Gel makes 3/4 cup. So we're going to add that. And then we need 1½ teaspoon of cinnamon. And this is a 1/2 teaspoon. So we've got, there's 1 1/2. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. 1 1/4 cups of cold water. 2 1/2 cups of unsweetened apple juice. I already put the 2 cups in here. My battery died. Sorry about that. So we've got 2 1/2 cups of apple juice in here. We're going to go ahead and bring that to a boil on medium-high heat. Let me get this stirred up real quick. Once it starts to bubble and starts to thicken up, then we're going to add the lemon juice. So we need a 1/2 cup of lemon juice next, but we got to bring this to a boil first. I'll bring you up here. Mix this up real good. And I'm going to go ahead and get my lemon juice. It's a 1/2 cup of lemon juice ready. So when this starts to boil, then we can go ahead and pour that in. And in this bottle here, I did go ahead and make my own lemon juice from lemons that I had purchased. Alright, so we are starting to boil. Just keep it stirred. Alright, can y'all see it boiling? Once it starts to boil, it's going to start thickening because of that pectin in there. Look at all them swirls, ain't they pretty? Alright, well let this come to a rolling boil. Now what that means is it will not stop boiling even though I stir it. See, it's still boiling even though I stir it. Alright, that's what's called a rolling boil. So now we're going to go ahead and add the 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Stir it around. Did you see that color change? And then we can get to rolling it up. And Steven decided he wanted to listen to me real quick on YouTube.
Please don't listen.
Alright, now we've got to bring this back to a rolling boil, and we have to boil it for a whole minute. We're going to hurry up and get done so we can go walking. Alright, we got it coming to a rolling boil. And it has boiled for a minute. Alright, I'm going to cut this off. And our apples here, we need to see if we need to drain. I don't think there's anything under here. No. Alright, no extra water in that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pour our apples in here very carefully. And then just fold them in. So I'm going to swap spoons here. Very carefully. Pour the apples in. There we go. Alright, now we're just going to fold them in here. Push them down. And we've got to heat the apples back up with the pie filling liquid. Let's turn it back on for just a few minutes. Okay, now is the time to go ahead and make sure you got your jars ready. And we're going to have to water bath this for 25 minutes so you can go ahead and start getting your water bath ready. Alright, so we are ready to get these filled up. Got everything back hot. My jar is warm. And now the fun part is trying to get an even mixture of apple pie filling, the creamy part, and the apples in each jar. Now this makes about 7 pints. So I've got 3 quarts ready and 1 pint, and we'll see what happens. It sure is pretty.
Next one.
And we're going to 1 inch of headspace. No, it needs to get down in there. Try not to make too big of a mess. I think I'm going to get 3 quarts out of here.
Okay.
Let's see. I got just a few apples left. We're going to pour them in a a pint jar, and use them on pancakes or something. Yep, there's the little extra. We'll use on something. Get them all pushed down in there. Wipe the rims off with a wet rag. With the wet rag. That one's a little sticky. So is my hands. And the spoon. And the pot. And my stove. Ooh, they hot. And I did quarts because this will fill up a deep dish pie pan whenever you get ready to make your apple pies. And one to grow on.
Yeah, that's a reuse.
And one to grow on. And that will go in the refrigerator. It'll solidify and gel a little bit more after it cools off. So we'll leave it sitting out for a little bit so we don't break my glass shelves. Alright, so I'm going to pop these in the water bath canner. These are going to process for 25 minutes. And there is our apple pie filling. And then once you pull it out, it'll be all ooey and gooey and ready for your pantry shelves. Whenever you get ready to make your apple pies for the holidays. You can also, like if you wanted to put these in pints, if you wanted to go ahead and put these in pints, you could go back and do Casey's 1 cup cobbler, and I'll try to remember to link the recipe. And you can go back and try that, and then you can make the batter and then just take the apple pie filling and kind of just dab it all over the batter, like whenever you would put the fruit in there, and you would use this pie filling, and I bet that'd be really good. May I have to try that. So we're going to water bath these for 25 minutes. And then I will show you what they look like afterwards. After they've cooled off, I'll probably show you in the morning. So that way they'll be good and jellified, solidified, whatever you want to call it. And you'll know what they are going to be the consistency of. So we'll see you shortly. Alright, it is the next morning and our apple pie filling has cooled off after being water bathed. And you can see how thick it is. And my apples kind of floated, so before I go and put them on the shelf, I'm going to try to mix it up just a little bit better and get them a little better covered up here. But all in all, it looks good. Looks real good. So I hope you guys go out and try this recipe. It is in the ball book. And you can go by it, and you also have the instructions from this video as well. So go out, try it. Let me know what else you do with your apples, because we've got a ton that we've got to get put up. Till next time, guys, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.